Hey, what's up, guys? Last week I had the great opportunity to watch the movie Air. I highly recommend it. The performances are stellar, and the plot and themes keep you interested and intrigued throughout, even though you know how the story's going to end. Ben Affleck does a great job directing the film. I always felt like I didn't know what was going to happen next, and I loved how he got me to care for the characters. And there's also a couple of unique shots which really make the film stand out than just another true story. And although the film is very unique in its plot, I couldn't help shake the feeling that I've seen this kind of movie before. And that's when, during this movie, I realized that Air belongs to a genre that is one of the most popular ones in the world, yet nobody knows exists. 12 years ago, one of my favorite films of all time was released, The Social Network. Now, part of the things that made The Social Network so brilliant was its fantastic writing, its Oscar award-winning screenplay, and its brilliant performances by Jesse Eisenberg and Andrew Garfield. However, one of the things I love about it is how unique it is. If you think about it, the idea behind The Social Network as a movie is kind of amazing. What David Fincher did by using the actual court documents and the relationship between Eduardo and Mark to not only analyze how Mark changed, but also show the development as the company as a whole is a really interesting idea. Because it's a character study of Mark himself, but also a character study of the company, of Facebook. And the way you tie those two themes together is really incredible. And I think it was so influential and so incredible and so unique that other movies that came about that were based on true stories couldn't help but repeat it in a similar way. About a year after The Social Network came out, another similar movie which I love that takes a true story and uses the development of an idea to reflect characters and society as a whole is Moneyball. Now, of course, a year is a very short amount of time for a film, so I'm not saying that The Social Network impacted how Moneyball was written or how it was developed. However, I do think it did signify this kind of development of a new genre. The genre of ideas, the genre of entrepreneurship. Now, technically, Moneyball isn't about the foundation of a company, but in a way it is, because the sports team kind of resembles Facebook and The Social Network, right? The athletes kind of resemble how Mark used this new idea and method to shape his own company into a worldwide phenomenon. So does Brad Pitt in Moneyball use this new idea and method to shape the world of baseball. And more importantly, the development of this idea and the way the movie follows how this company or organization changes throughout time more accurately analyzes the character development of the central character. So in The Social Network, we see how Mark becomes, even though he was already self-centered at the beginning, how he seems to build an ego and distance himself from Eduardo, leading to him eventually stabbing him in the back. We see how Brad Pitt's character reflects on his earlier sports development with his own baseball experience and how the numbers messed him up and he led him to this career, but also how this new method kind of gives him some redemption to that. So the way that these movies use organizations and the development of ideas to do character analysis is a really unique idea, which is really unique to these movies. Because the thing about these movies is they're both based on true stories, right? Now, it obviously isn't 100% true, but the central idea is based on a true story, and I think that's important to how these movies work. Because if they weren't based on true stories, I think it could be a lot more eventful, yet it wouldn't be as true. That's the thing about these movies, they feel very true. It'd be very easy for you to create a company and build an ego and then betray your friend in the back. It's a very human story. Same thing goes for Moneyball. In the Moneyball, they lose the final game. They don't make it to the championship. But that's not what it's about, and that's very true to life. Like in a sports movie, it's easy for you to win the final game, hurrah, sports montage, whatever. But the way it's analyzed in Moneyball is, in fact, Jonah Hill's character states this. The more figurative victory was the very fact that the method proved itself, that Brad Pitt got some sort of redemption and showed that it's not just about how an image looked, but the actual numbers, the actual like statistics. So I think the way these movies show how a character develops through their development of another idea is completely original to these types of movies. Now, of course, I'd say there are many other movies that are part of these genres. I'd argue that the Steve Jobs movie, The Big Short, The Wolf of Wall Street, and of course Air are all part of this genre of using the development of ideas or companies to reflect character development. And I like to call this genre innovated drama. Although Air is the newest installment in the genre of innovative drama, I like to think there will be a lot more movies that explore companies, ideas, and things we all know, but show us how these things were created and the stories of the creators themselves.